Merry ho ho everyone, and welcome to reacting to my Spotify rap. So this is one of my fun, extra Christmassy end of year kind of pieces of content that I'm putting out on a Friday in December, but every Monday in December and the rest of the year I tend to put out a video essay. So if you're interested in that, please do stick around. And just a quick little disclaimer that I think I'm going to be putting on most of my videos this month, my voice is going. So if it starts getting a little bit croaky, a little bit crackly, or just doesn't sound great, please excuse it. I'm probably not helping that dilemma by filming, but I'm gonna continue to do so anyway. So we're gonna struggle through together, okay? So I'm filming this when Spotify Wrapped has come out very recently, but you're gonna see this about a week or so after Spotify Wrapped has come out. So I hope you still care. I don't subscribe to the idea that I see some people say online, which is, I don't want to see your Spotify Wrapped. Why would I care? No, I'm nosy. I want to know. So I'm going to start with a couple of predictions. I think that in my top 5 artists, there is definitely going to be Noah Khan. When I get in my car and drive anywhere, if I just want something easy to throw on Spotify, it's always Noah Khan. Originally just a Stick Seasons album, but I've definitely branched out over the year and I'm loving it. In summer, I definitely had a Sabrina Carpenter moment. I don't think she'll necessarily be like 1 or 2, but maybe number 4, maybe number 5. And I have definitely hyperfixated on some Alex Warren songs. So either I think he'll be in my top 5 artists or one of his songs will be in my top 5. So let's get into it. I'm going to move to the side so there's space for me to put in screen recordings and screen grabs and everything of my actual Spotify Wrapped so you can follow along with me. When everyone said that Wrapped was out, I went on the app and I couldn't see it, so I googled. Turns out I had to update my Spotify app. But we are here, so let's look at my 2024 Spotify Wrapped. I'm Wrapped ready. Life does move fast. I'm glad someone was taking notes. 25,868 minutes this year. Top 14% of listeners worldwide. What happened on the 28th of September? 636 listening minutes? What was happening? I have to go back through my calendar and see what was happening. 1,426 songs this year. I tend to repeat songs a lot, so I feel like other people will have a lot higher than that. Top song was Lonely Ones by Lova. Top 0.005% of listeners globally. Interesting. I wasn't expecting that. For those of you who don't know this song, Lonely Ones by Lova it's a really beautiful piece of music, and I think it really speaks to the idea of being young and feeling very insular and slightly isolated and very in your own head. The reason I even know about this song is from Young Royals. So I only started watching Young Royals this year. I know, shocker. It's such a piece of media that I would love, and it took me forever to get on the bandwagon, but I did. And when I did, it's when season 3 came out, so I could watch the whole thing through. But this is a song that's featured. I think this Spotify Wrapped may actually expose quite a lot about me, and it may very much give sad girl struggle bus energy. This is also my dream song to choreograph and dance to. So I would love to do a lyrical routine to this. If I ever was on Strictly Come Dancing, which again, absolute dream if I could ever do that, can they just do one with normal people so I can go on? Hi. This would be my dream song to do a couple's choice to. Streamed it 175 times starting on the 28th of March. While it's not a competition, but let's face it, it is Spotify. Oh, are these my top songs? Okay. Let's have a look at these. Okay, Lonely Ones number 1. We just talked about this. I did not expect Sarah by We3 to be that high. It is a struggle bus type of song. We3 are these 3 siblings. I think they first came about on like American's Got Talent or something. But they're 3 siblings in a band and they are really amazing. I've watched some of the footage of them performing live and they are great. Sarah is very much a mental health song. And it's the type of song that I think is so pertinent and it finds the people who need it. It's not the type of song I would ever recommend to anyone, but if you need it, I think you find it. It covers very heavy topics, and Manny, who's the lead singer, and I believe he wrote Sarah, the way he's kind of put it before is that he has been a Sarah and he knows other people have also been Sarahs in their life. It's to connect with those people and to tell people, there is hope kind of thing. Like, it's a beautiful song, but it's a heavy song. Number 3 makes sense, Breakdown, Youngblood. Definitely over summer when I was driving a lot between home and my summer job. I really did love this. For some reason, it feels very British summertime to me. That almost trap beat behind it. It's a very infectious beat to the song. It's kind of a mixture between rap and spoken word section of the song that I absolutely adore. It's quite a big section, but the bit that always kind of hits for me is, see, the world is pretty big, man, but don't feel small in it. Sometimes you'll lose a number, but I swear you're still calling it. I promise it'll be alright in the end. Fuck the depression, it's all in your head. Stay with your friends and walk up the hill at 5:45 in the morning, taking the air while everyone else is still snoring. Express yourself with your friends, they'll save your life, you know. Everything's about connection, you don't have to be alone. I think some of it is that walk up the hill at 5:45 in the morning. One of my last nights out in Durham, we went out to watch the sunrise after the night out on one of the hills in Durham that's great for it. I think it was Winnie Hill we went up. Or was it Observatory? No, I think it was Winnie Hill. It feels like a very British song to me, which makes sense. Youngblood, British, he's a Yorkshire lad. But I think there's just something really raw about it and really authentic. It just connects in a really cool way, and I think it really calls back to that growing up feeling. Kind of like Castle on the Hill by Ed Sheeran. That is something that feels very much like the experience of growing up in Britain to me. I don't know why. It's like a nostalgia for it that lives in those songs. And Breakdown is almost infused with hope, which I love. Number 4 is Forever by Noah Khan. I'm honestly surprised there's not more than one Noah Khan song in my top 5. I think Forever makes sense to be in here. I did definitely hyperfixate on this song at some point. Again, it's one that feels hopeful. I love the album Stick Seasons, and it's for the people going through something. I definitely think so. I think Forever is this really beautiful way to draw Stick Seasons to a close. When it was released on Stick Seasons Forever, and you have all the duets and the kind of deluxe edition bonus tracks, and then you also have Forever added to it, it feels like it's taking this whole experience, which does feel like, again, the experience of growing up, of moving away, of finding your place in the world, of navigating your 20s, all of those things. Forever is this really hopeful ending, and it looks forward to a future, and it's just beautiful, really. There's imagery I love in this song, especially because Noah Khan to me is a very poetic writer, very imagery heavy. He tells a story. He talks about, I'll meet a girl in the heat of July and I'll tell her, and these are things he wants to tell her. And one is that I broke a bone that never healed in my hands. When I hold her close, I might loosen my grip, but I won't ever let her go. I think that beautifully captures this feeling of wanting to hold on to someone and maybe not physically be able to, but always being there for that person and always holding them close, whether physically or holding them close to your heart and caring for a person. And then number 5, we have Club Heaven by Nessa Barrett. I'm actually surprised. I didn't think I listened to this song that much. Did it come out this year or the end of last year? Maybe I listened to it more in the first half of the year. So Club Heaven is a song that Nessa wrote for one of her best friends that passed away on July 9th, 2022. And I will forever remember that date because it was the day after my 20th birthday, and I was in a bar in Tenerife when I found out, and it's one of those really random things that you wouldn't think would affect you that much, but it really kind of hit me. Nessa started out on TikTok, and Cooper was also a TikToker, and he raised a lot of awareness surrounding addiction and mental health and eating and all of these things that I think meant a lot to me. I think it's really important that people use platforms to have those discussions, and he was trying to use his platform in that way. The song is kind of talking about how Nessa hopes that Cooper has found happiness, like in heaven, in death, has found a place where he fits and belongs and he can talk to all his idols and is living a good life. And also about Nessa worrying that she won't see Cooper again and hoping that one day she'll see Cooper again. And I think the connection between Nessa and Cooper in this song is best summed up by the lyrics, I'm searching for your halo because I'm not having fun in a city full of angels that's missing the best one. And she pulls on that LA imagery quite frequently in her music. It's a great song. I just didn't expect it to be in my top 5, honestly. So that's my top 5 songs. So let's move on. Oh, I spent 12,076 minutes listening to podcasts. To be honest, this is the first year I've really got into podcasts. Yeah, topic TV and film. I listen to a lot of like recap, or not quite reaction, but response, I guess, podcasts. Yeah, this makes a lot of sense. Everything from Nothing, the Waterloo Road podcast. That is literally a podcast that goes through every single episode of Waterloo Road and responds to it, discusses it. I grew up watching Waterloo Road. I think that's why I enjoy it. With the reboot and everything, I'm still watching Waterloo Road, so that makes sense. Southside Rules, a Shameless podcast. Same idea, just with Shameless, the US version of Shameless. The AP podcast is interesting because I'm fairly sure I only listened to one episode, which is an Andy Biersack episode of the AP podcast. Although there's probably a few times that I've put that on to go to sleep and it's just kept playing other episodes, so that might be why it's so high. America's Girls is a podcast that talks about the origins, foundings, and history of the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. So I kind of listened to that ahead of the Netflix docuseries coming out. And then Psy Guys, I actually rarely listen to Psy Guys on Spotify as a podcast format, but I do watch the Psy Guys videos quite a lot. Psy Guys, as in the name, it's a science podcast, but it's a very accessible one, and it's talking about prevalent or interesting issues. They talk a lot about queer issues, they talk a lot about mental health. You've changed, and so has your listening. Ooh, interesting. Okay. What's my music evolution? We're going back to July. I graduated in July. I was in my feels in July. My Molgoth rockish pop punk phase. All time low, water parks, and MGK. So I was trying to tap back into 14-year-old Holly because I was feeling nostalgic because I graduated uni. Let's look at August. Surely this is like my Sabrina Carpenter phase. Pink Pilates, Princess Strut Pop. Sabrina Carpenter, Taylor Swift, and Little Mix. Yes. Just yes, iconic. October. Oh, we're jumping. Royal Core Calm Classical Dark Academia moment. Oh, this is when I started using Dark Academia playlists in the library. You've listened to 662 artists. I feel like that's not that many. Like I said, I like to stick to what I know. Oh, is this my top? Noah. I'm not surprised I said it at the top of the video that I expected Noah to be on here. Noah Khan is your top artist. Exactly. No comments. No note. Longest listening streak was 6 days. Top 2% fan? Spent 1,866 minutes together. You don't have to tell me I'm an overachiever. I'm getting a master's degree. Are these my top 5 artists? 3, 2, 1, give me my top 5. Ooh, okay. I'm not sure I actually agree with this. So Noah Khan won, yes. MGK. I didn't think I had a very MGK heavy year this year. Back when Tickets to My Downfall was released, yes, I was very much on the MGK train. I haven't played MGK that much, so I don't know how MGK is at number 2. Lover has got to number 3 purely on me playing Lonely Ones. I do not play any other Lover song. So Lover not only has my top listened to song, but that song was listened to so much that it made her my 3rd listened to artist. I really love that song. Number 4, Youngblood. That kind of makes sense. Again, kind of an artist that if I'm not sure what I want to listen to, I can just shuffle play the artist and it's pretty easy for when I'm driving. Number 5, Alex Warren. I did say I thought Alex Warren would be on here. I thought it would be a top song maybe more than top artist, but that makes sense to me. Alex Warren, I feel like I probably didn't start listening to until quite late in the year. It was the second half of the year that he released an album, I believe. And I mean, I love every song on it. I'm obsessed. And have you seen, I don't know about anyone else, this might just be the side of TikTok I'm on, but where he's been on tour, I've seen a lot of videos of him not singing his songs, but the bit of crowd work he does in between that very much cut together kind of looks like he's doing a stand-up comedy show about his trauma. I kind of love it, you know? I'm here for it. Looks like we have, oh, is this a message?
Hey guys, it's Noah Khan, If you're listening to this message, it's because you went through something traumatic this year and decided to listen to my music. Um, I really appreciate it. Obviously, sorry for whatever it is you're going through. If you're an emotionally stable person and you're listening, um, I would consider listening to something else. But it means the world every year to see so many people listen to my music in all seriousness. My music is for everybody, and I appreciate everybody listening to it. It means the world. I'm always blown away.
From that video, my humor makes so much sense. Like, we all just joke about being on the struggle bus. Is this a Gen Z thing? It might be. We're all just going through things, which I think is why we're in our Noah Khan era. To be fair, just my top artists and my top songs are really highlighting. Apparently, it was a struggling year. Although I thought I had a really good year. This is the year I keep looking back on and going, for the first time in my life, I've had so many moments where I've just stopped and genuinely thought this is what happiness looks like. No one told my Spotify Wrap that, apparently. And then is it just my top? Yeah. Don't we normally get a top genre as well? Isn't there normally a little bit more to it? I don't feel like my top 5 artists or songs really reflect what my year has been. I think, to be fair, that it's been a real mix of a year. I was definitely on the struggle bus around when I handed in my dissertation. Then graduation happened. I mean, I had a great summer up in Durham, and then graduation happened and I was feeling very nostalgic. And then I had a good summer. I was very much looking forward to the future. I've started my master's course. It's actually been quite a full on year. Maybe it's been a year of a lot of ups and downs, and maybe that's why this is what my Spotify Wrap looked like. The top 100. I feel like that's a little bit more exposing. So let's get into it. Obviously, we have those 5 lonely ones: Sarah, Breakdown, Forever, Club Heaven. Immediately under them, we have 2 songs from the Everybody's Talking About Jamie movie soundtrack, not the musical cast. We have This Was Me, which honestly is the best choice I think they made in the movie. They added this song into the movie and it's not in the musical, like the stage musical. It's arguably one of my favorite songs in that musical movie. They almost made a music video to go with it within the film as well, and it feels like a nod to the elder gaze. It feels like a nod to community and those who have come before and the struggles that have been fought and those that have been lost in order for Everybody's Talking About Jamie's story to be told. And you know exactly that time it's calling back to. I mean, you have Freddie playing on the radio, the Iron Lady couldn't stop the show. So back to Maggie Thatcher, back to that. If you've ever watched the movie Pride and you have LGSM, lesbians and gays support the minors, dirty glamour dancing in the dark on days that wouldn't die, when we felt like we could fly. I mean, all that's missing is a Donna Summer reference, really. It really beautifully captures, like I said, it's this nod back and it's this acknowledgement of history and community, but it's also this lovely acknowledgement of kind of this precedent of, in the face of adversity, living boldly and living freely and living authentically. It's divine. It's a divine song. And again, every Friday we'd emerge reborn, keep on dancing until we saw the dawn, making history and breaking laws. Oh God, how good that feels. We were heroes in our heels. It's just a gorgeous song. Like, genuinely, absolutely love it. And yes, if you can't tell, I am a musical nerd. The next song under that is Wall in My Head, which, this is a gorgeous song. Absolutely gorgeous. This is the song that actually hit even harder when I saw the show live. I took myself into Newcastle on a little solo date to see it in January. And again, there's some beautiful lines in it. The line that really gets me in this one is that this wall is harder to beat when it's one you helped build. It's a gorgeous song. It really, really is. And it's got so much heart to it. I highly recommend it. If you haven't seen the movie or the musical or listened to the soundtrack to Everybody's Talking About Jamie, do it, please. Next, we have Carlos's song by Noah Khan. I remember I listened to this one literally on repeat whilst I was working my summer job when I did paperwork. I literally just had it on repeat, and this is one of the first songs I really loved that wasn't on Stick Seasons. Below that, we have 2011 by 5 Seconds of Summer. I think this was definitely part of my nostalgia moment when I was graduating and I was looking back. It literally opens with I miss the days when we were young and not too wise. Below that, we have 20s by Bo Anderson. This one was when I was in my feels, I was feeling nostalgic. I didn't want uni to come to an end and thinking about life in your 20s, probably also around the time I was turning 22. I mean, it's one of the first years I didn't have an absolute crisis at my birthday, so that's something. Next, we have an Alex Warren song, I Thought We Would Carry You Home. If you live under a rock and didn't see all of the wedding content from Alex and Kova's wedding, this is a song he wrote for Kova, and I want a man to love me this much one day. This much, this freely, this purely, this completely, this strongly. The love that Alex and Kova have for each other is palpable, and this song really sums that up. The music video also is beautiful and it has dancing, so I'm happy. If you haven't noticed, I am a hopeless romantic, and this really speaks to that part of my soul. You're Gonna Go Far, Noah Khan. I graduated, I moved even further away from home. I'm in Scotland now. I'm from the southeast of England. So I'm even further away from home than ever. I am the daughter who left, I'm the sister who left, I'm the granddaughter that left. And when you're in the car on the way to living even further away from home than you ever have before, when you're surrounded by rolling Scottish fields that are full of sheep and cows and the fog's rolling in on these long winding roads, and you hear Noah Khan singing the lines, so pack up your car, put a hand on your heart, say whatever you feel, be wherever you are, we ain't angry at you, love, you're the greatest thing we've lost. I shed a few tears, I'll be honest. Next is The Wall in My Head again, but the West End cast this time. Under that we have Out of the Darkness from the movie soundtrack. I'm surprised that Pretty Toxic Revolver by MGK is on here. It's one I definitely was very into in lockdown, but I don't think I listen to it that much anymore. Growing Sideways, Noah Khan. The opening to this song, the first time I heard it, I was like, well, I have to listen to this song. It starts with, so I took my medication and I poured my trauma out on some sad-eyed middle-aged man's overpriced new leather couch. Storytelling, people, storytelling. Next we have Quarter Life Crisis by Taylor Bickett, I believe. This one is very much, again, a song like 20s by Belle Anderson. I actually often play them together when I'm in that kind of mood. Under that we have Pretty Little Distance by As It Is. This is definitely when I was back in my nostalgia, looking back on when I was 14, when I was playing 2011 by 5 Seconds of Summer kind of vibe. I did see As It Is play live actually at Slam Dunk Festival. I must have been about 16 or 17. We have Hollywood Whore by MGK, arguably perhaps one of my favorite tracks on Hotel Diablo. Dial Drunk, Noah Khan. We're gonna have a lot of Noah Khan, we should know this. You're on Your Own Kid by Taylor Swift. This is one of my favorite Taylor Swift songs. My nan's favorite Taylor Swift song was Love Story, so that's always gonna be number one. And I always enjoyed when I did singing lessons back in a past life. I enjoyed singing White Horse a lot. I felt like there was a real emotional performance that came out of that song. But You're on Your Own Kid is definitely up there too. But I remember the first time listening to it was actually on like Fandom Edit. Was it a multi fandom or Steve Harrington was involved? I remember that. That bridge that's like from sprinkler splashes to fireplace ashes. I gave my blood, sweat, and tears for this. I hosted parties and starved my body like I'd be saved by the perfect kiss. Or the first time I heard that, I had to rewind it and listen to it again because it felt so raw and I just wasn't expecting it. We have Sweet Melody by Little Mix. This is another song I would love to dance to one day. Whether the choreography that they do in the music video, because oh my god, is it choreographed amazingly, or if a choreographer had a new idea, I would love to dance to it because it feels so powerful as a song. I love it. Tired of California, another Nessa Barrett song. I do really enjoy Nessa Barrett songs. I haven't actually listened to her new album yet, which is Aftercare. I'm kind of saving it for January because I'm in my Christmas mode right now and I feel like I need to hold space for Aftercare, you know? Moving on, I love Noah Khan, Who's Afraid of Little Old Me. This is one that I was dancing to for a little while, which I think is why it's on this playlist. Glass House featuring Naomi Wildbed and MGK song. Again, a really good song on Hotel Diablo, but I don't recall actually playing it that much this year. So I'm kind of shocked. Burning Down, Alex Warren. I believe there's a version with Joe Jonas coming soon. I don't actually know when, but I saw them making TikToks about it. And I am so excited. It's an amazing song. Stick Season, classic Noah Khan. We Were Only Kids, The Love Songs by McFly. Now, I've been listening to McFly since I was literally a child. Like, McFly and Busted are some of the first artists I remember really enjoying, and I've seen Busted live and I've not seen McFly live, and I don't know where I'm gonna be when they're doing their joint tour next year, which is why I didn't get tickets, and I'm so sad about it. But this is one of those songs that if it had come out when I first started listening to McFly, maybe I wouldn't have loved it, but I love it now. Also, Danny Jones's voice on it is just amazing. But my favorite part of this song is the lines, "You said the youth's wasted on the young. Well, we'll go and prove them right. Yeah, we'll waste tomorrow because we were only kids last night." Nightmare by Halsey again. I was dancing to this for a little while. Coastline by Hollow Coast. This is a gorgeous song. To me, this song embodies that idea I've talked about of going up to a hill and watching the sunrise, it being summer and early in the morning, no one's awake yet, sitting on the beach, watching the sunrise, contemplating life. Homesick Noah Khan, there's a lot of Noah Khan on here. Until the End by Chloe Amen. This is from a concept album that was to do with the Marauders, I'm fairly sure, from Harry Potter. And this song details the story of Lily and James Potter from falling in love to their death. And it just feels so cinematic and it takes you on such an emotional journey that A, every time I listen to it, I feel like I need to perform it. And B, it makes me cry. I'm going to read such a big part of these lyrics, but it's because they're so good. And it's going to be a dramatic reading for this one. Early 20s fighting for their lives from dusk to dawn on the front lines. They sold their youth to take up arms, broken bodies, broken hearts. Their friends that used to cheat on tests, now 21, cheating death, go out for drinks and laugh before losing their lives to settle scores. Next, we have Watch What Happens Next by Waterparks, which is definitely from my nostalgia for being 14 phase. Good to Be by Mark Amber. There should be another Mark Amber song on this too, because I discovered his music very much at the start of the year, and it's just feel good. Again, feels like a movie montage, summer movie kind of thing. Orange Juice, Noah Khan. Cheap Shots and Setbacks, another As It Is track. American Jesus, Nessa Barrett, Taste, Sabrina Carpenter. She's finally here. I thought there would be more Sabrina Carpenter on this list. The View Between Villages extended version. There is nothing like being about to leave your hometown again, where you lived for 19 years of your life in the same house, driving through routes that you've gone on long drives for just to get out of the house before anyway, especially in COVID, and hearing the line, "The things that I lost here, the people I knew, they got me surrounded for a mile or two. Before You Leave," Alex Warren, again, he's just really, if you haven't listened to Alex Warren's music, do it, please. Death in My Pocket, MGK, It's Time, Imagine Dragons. This makes me think of Glee. Did they perform it at some point? They definitely did. Call Your Mom, Noah Khan. That's definitely a crying song. Save Your Seat, Alex Warren. Habits, MGK. Tell Me About Tomorrow by Jaden. A few years ago, I definitely had a lot more Jaden in my like top 5, top playlist, all of that. Like I talked about with Nessa and Club Heaven, this is another song that's for Cooper. But this was one that was written when Cooper was still alive. Promise me you won't say goodbye right now. Hold on when you have your doubts. Tell me the things that I don't know, I'll tell you about tomorrow. It's such a love letter to the people who struggle, but also the people who help them through. View Between Villages, the normal version. Die First, Nessa. Back Home by Andy Grammer. So most people probably know Andy Grammer for Gotta Keep Your Head Up, which I'll be honest, I knew the song and then actually realized I knew it after it was in Pitch Perfect. Back Home is one of those, it's a summer song. It's road trips and friends and drinking in your gardens, that kind of vibe. I think I'm okay with Youngblood. I'm actually surprised that's not a more played MGK song. Your Needs, My Needs, Noah again, Troubled Waters, Alex Warren. What you should hear is, if you don't listen to Noah Khan or Alex Warren, give them a go. If You Love Her by Forrest Black. This is another one where the hopeless romantic in me is like, where do I find a man who loves this hard? Because it is a gorgeous song. I'm sure it's been people's wedding songs. Standards are high, essentially. Mars by Youngblood. This song tells a really magnificent story, and I really urge everyone to listen to it because it is so real and heartfelt. I believe it's inspired by a fan that Youngblood either met or got a letter from. But I think the whole message of the song is summed up by these kind of lines that I'm gonna pull, which is every morning she would wake up with another plan. Yeah, her mom and dad, they can understand why she couldn't turn it off, become a better man. I think it's a very pertinent song in today's climate. Everywhere, Everything, Noah Khan, obviously. Fuck Being Sober by Annika Wells. Oh my god, this is a party song. This also still gives those vibes from 20s by Bo Anderson and Quarter Life Crisis. They're those kind of songs. This ties in with really well. Dead or Alive by Jaden, When the Time Comes, another everybody's talking about Jamie song. I definitely listened to the whole soundtrack just on repeat after going to see the musical. Come Over, Noah Khan, Then Catch My Breath, Alex Warren, Home, Philip Phillips. This, again, it's those early summer mornings. It's atmospheric, so soft but so heartfelt. It's a beautiful song. This time, the Glee cast version. So this is performed by Rachel Berry in the final season. So it's performed by Leah Michelle, but it was written by Darren Criss, I'm fairly sure. And this is like the big final kind of goodbye ballad from Rachel Berry to McKinley, but also to the show. And the theatre kid in me loves this. This is one that, again, I listened to when I was about to graduate. And the reason being is when I did my GCSEs at 16, I didn't think about the results all summer until literally a week before. And then I was staying up all hours of the night, anxious. I was watching Glee and very much listened to a lot of the emotional, the goodbyes, and this was one I really held on to a lot. I mean, lines like, I look at everything I was and everything I ever loved, and I can see how much I've grown. I think of all the things I did and how I wish I knew what I know now. I see how far I come and what I've got right. When I was looking for that spotlight, I was looking for myself. For all the battles that we lost or might have won, I never stopped believing in the words we sung. There's so many beautiful lines in this. I think it's a credit to Darren Criss as a songwriter. Northern Attitudes by Noah Khan. Good Life, which is G-Eazy and Kalani. Again, that's a song I danced to for a little while. God is a Freak by Peach PRC. This is definitely coming off my Pride playlist, which actually needs updating because I didn't love it when I used it this year, but it's such a catchy song. I really love this song. Heaven Without You, Alex Warren, She Calls Me Back, Noah Khan, and then Spotlight from the Everybody's Talking About Jamie soundtrack. Scared to Start by Michael McCargy. I might be pronouncing that wrong. This is a song I got introduced to by TikTok. It's beautiful, and again, it's about doing new things and pushing yourself. You'll be alright, kid. This song really hits, and I'm surprised it's not higher up. The first time I heard the opening, I wish I had the number to my younger self. I'd pick up the phone and say, "You're only 12." Tears, tears. No Complaints, Noah Khan. Madhouse by Nessa Barrett. Smile by Mickey Echo. This was definitely in one of those very 2014 movies. Maybe it was Paper Towns. Again, it's a feel good song. It's a movie montage song. Yard Sale, Alex Warren, New Perspective, Noah Khan, and then Belong Together, Mark Amber. Like I said, there was definitely going to be a couple Mark Amber songs on here. Feel good songs. I'll Always Remember You, Hannah Montana. That was definitely me when I was graduating. I'm fairly sure I used that on one of my graduation posts. Chasing Shadows, Alex Warren, Paul Revere, Noah Khan, obviously. Taurus, MGK and Naomi Wild. This is from a movie that MGK did, but it's a really good song, and I'm surprised it's not higher because actually this is one I remember listening to this year from MGK. The delivery of it essentially speeds up throughout the entire song, but it starts like a metronome. How the words are being delivered, and it's captivating. It almost sends you into a trance. Over the Top, again, everybody's talking about Jamie. Grace, Rag and Bone Man. Now, this song is actually one that's been in a lot of my top songs of the year for a fair few years. I first heard this, it would have been, I want to say season 3, but don't hold me to that, of the originals. And I've been obsessed with this song ever since. Still, Noah Khan, In These Walls, MGK, Telephone, Water Parks. 3090 from Tick Tick Boom. I definitely had a Tick Tick Boom moment. Jonathan Larson, love. Andrew Garfield, love. They are both icons. Honestly, Rent is my favorite musical ever. If it were ever touring in the UK or opened in the West End, I would go into debt to see that show. It is so special to me. She Calls Me Back, Noah with Casey Musgraves. El Diablo, MGK. I actually don't know if I even listened to this song this year. Low Key as Hell, Water Parks, again, 14-year-old nostalgia. Heat Waves, Glass Animals, that is such a summer song to me. It reminds me of my first year at uni. Call Your Mum with Lizzie McAlpine, Noah. Yeah. Acting Like That, MGK and Youngblood. Lie to Girls, Sabrina Carpenter. I actually think Lie to Girls is one of my favorite Sabrina Carpenter tracks from that album. Perfect, Ed Sheeran. This is such a winter romance song to me. I think because the music video is set in winter, it's snowing, it's very atmospheric, cutesy, almost holiday rom-com-y. I have no notes. Someone bring me a man like that, please. Halloween, Noah. Little Talks of Mothers and Men. Again, just classic. Ride Out was one that I danced to again. Good Graces, Sabrina Carpenter. Something about that is really catchy. And then Long Live Taylor's version, Taylor Swift. It's the song I played when I found out my A-level results. I associate music, if you can't tell, with periods of my life. You can tell by that list that I find music I like and I just keep playing it. I am very much, I stick to what I know, I stick to what I like. I'm not that adventurous. I have like 3 areas of what I like: sad songs, nostalgia for when I was a teenager type songs, and hopeless romantic songs. That is what the brief is. I'm surprised there was no One Direction in there. But if you've sat here this long with me, thank you. I'm really nosy, so I want to know, who was your top artist and what was your top song? And were you surprised? Because I'm definitely surprised by my top artists, and I'm not actually sure I agree with them. But let me know, what were your opinions on your Spotify Wrap this year?